is September 5th, 2021. The time is 2:27 p.m. And today I want to talk about my thoughts and feelings on what happens after we die. A subject that I know many folks, including yourselves, are interested in at least. There are so many people also that are terrified about the prospect of moving on and leaving this world. And it is something that I've been asked about because of what I do when I astral project and when I have other kinds of experiences. I want to first say, though, that these are simply theories that I have. I have no way of knowing what actually happens after we leave this planet. I want to be very, very clear about that. I can offer theories based on my experiences, of course, but these are no guarantees of what happens. And I'm always very upfront about this. So I wanted to make that clear first. But I want to talk about what I think is the first thing that happens after we go. When we initially, leave our bodies and our bodies die. What I think happens initially is that there is a transition. And by the way, guys, doesn't that make sense? I mean, this will be the biggest transition that we will go through in our lifetimes, and everyone listening to this will go through this transition. So to me, it is logical that there is some period of time to get used to what has happened and to allow those that are around us, our guides and others that are there to help us, assist us in making this major transition. Also, when I had the experience where, well, for those of you who have been listening to my channel, you know that I lost a close friend, and not long after that friend had passed, I was drawn to a place where there were lights, candles, things like that. It was almost reminded me of maybe being in an apartment, sort of, but there were so many lights in this place. And a lady had come out. She was dressed in Victorian clothing. Again, I could feel that my friend was there, but he didn't come out. And this person that was out there was trying to explain something to me. And for some reason, I couldn't hear exactly what she was saying. But my feelings and my sense was that she was probably trying to explain the fact that he wasn't ready to see me or to say goodbye to me at that moment. And this, I think, was because of the transition that he was going through and that we all must go through in that time. Once we're ready, we have choices to make. And this may be controversial to some who are listening to this. There seem to be differing opinions about this. And everyone has their thoughts, I suppose. But for me, my opinion about this is that we have control. That there's no being that's telling us that we need to do A, B, or C. That A, B, or C is our choice. So if we wanted to stay on the planet and watch people and be bitter or upset or miss the time that we have on this planet, we're perfectly able to make that choice if that's what we want. Or we can move on. We can transition to that place that is beyond this world. And it is a place, by the way, that I feel, even in astral projection and the other experiences I have, this particular place is beyond my reach, that I wouldn't be able to reach a being after they cross over to that point, because that's the point you go to after you don't have a body anymore. And again, what that place looks like, what that place necessarily feels like, is beyond me. But that doesn't mean that I don't have my theories on what it is. I do believe that it is a place where we are connected to all things, and that the love there is so pure and so unconditional that it is beyond, at least beyond my comprehension of what that feels like. I base that on the experience I had visiting with my higher self in a place where I had said that it was the closest I'd ever come to seeing or feeling what it would be like to be in heaven. And the feelings I had there with this being whose eyes were composed of white light, and the walls in this place where I was in were composed of the same white light, and they seemed to have a life force of their own. It was an amazing, amazing experience for me, but the love that I felt in that moment was so intense that there was no way that I could have contained it inside. At that point, in this place where you are connected to all things, the source, again, God, whatever you'd like to call it, and you are experiencing love and all the wonderful, beautiful things that go on in this place, you can choose at that point to come back to the planet, to reincarnate, if you feel that you have things that you need to learn, or you can choose to stay in that place and be there and exist there. Or you could decide that you wanted to assist other souls in making their transition. You could be a traveler, like I believe I have been, and which I love doing. And, you know, who knows, once I leave the planet, if I will make the decision of wanting to continue that. But again, this is all about personal choice. And I think that the thought of being in control of all this, it's pretty scary. Giving that control over to someone else is much easier. Even though we have beings around us that can advise us and help us along the way, they cannot force us to do any of these things. These things are squarely in our control. So these are a few of my theories of things that happen after we pass. And again, I know that there will be some or perhaps many of you out there that will disagree with my thoughts, and that's fine. I don't have any issues with that. But again, I base these thoughts on experiences that I've had out there. What will truly happen, what it will truly be like, is, again, beyond me. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on another journey with me. And until next time, take care.